Hey guys, Kev here. Today I want to talk about Dragon Age. I love the Dragon Age series. I've been a fan since the beginning, playing Dragon Age Origins on the Xbox 360 back in the day, and then Dragon Age 2. I have about 200 hours played in Dragon Age Inquisition. I really, really like this series, and even though I haven't played a ton of it in a while until recently again, Veilguard is still my most anticipated game of the year so far. That said, I have concerns. One, about that 10-year cliffhanger they left us on after the Trespasser DLC for Inquisition. And how are we going to wrap that up? And is that going to be a major part of the Veilguard? And also just these three big major kind of bullet points that I have here. And I think these are things that I've heard echoed in the community online as well. But I want to just kind of put my 2 cents in on this as well. So number one is the art style. Number two is the combat. Now, I like what they did with Inquisition in the combat. I feel like they tried to give you the best of both worlds because people didn't like the combat in Dragon Age 2, and then some people really loved it because it was more action oriented. Some people liked that it was very much so it's like a strategy kind of tactical thing, which I liked both. I like both for Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Origins, so I thought it was great that they made the switch for Inquisition or allowed you to do both in Inquisition. And it feels like they're kind of take away that tactical camera. When we saw the gameplay reveal, they didn't show any tactical gameplay at all. And in fact, they kind of watered it down and made it more like Mass Effect. And this isn't a shot at Mass Effect. Mass Effect is my favorite game series of all time, in fact. Um, but what they did with Dragon Age, which I hate, is they took away the ability to control your companions, and that sucks. So you used to be able to, take your heroes in the older Dragon Age games, and or your companions rather, and you could push them in a certain direction in combat. Say, okay, I really want my tank to keep this boss busy while the rest of us, my damage dealers, take care of all the minions. And I would do that. Maybe have my rogue floating around protecting my squishies, my more squishy mages or archers in the back, when they get charged, some to keep them alive, and I'd have a healer back there just making sure just keep my DPS characters alive. And sometimes the AI would venture away from that, and it was good to be able to control the character and say, "No, Anders, heal. I need you to go heal Carver," and it would just do it. I like that, and I don't like that they're taking that away. They say you should be able to have room for tactical combat, and you can use still control certain abilities. I don't have a lot of faith in that. I think they are going to very much so Mass Effect it up because, as we've seen since Origins, they've tried to make Dragon Age more and more like Mass Effect, which kind of sucks because Mass Effect and Dragon Age are very different games. But of course, they're trying to take cues from the more popular game. I get it. But I wish they would give Dragon Age an identity, and I wish they would stick with that identity from Origins, really, and instead of trying to force everything into this action kind of game, go back to those dark fantasy CRPG roots that made everyone fall in love with the series in the first place. And the last thing I'm going to talk about are just the dark tones and just general consistency. Dragon Age Origins was dark. Like, I did a recent playthrough where I beat it around the top of August. It's August 18th when I record this, and it was just such a dark and brooding. Everything just kind of felt like everyone was screwed no matter what because of this blight and Dragon Age Origins. And while you had, I'm not gonna Dragon Age 2, not really dark at all. You did have a sense of, man, like this is really screwed up. There was a lot of conflict in Dragon Age 2, which I liked, but they didn't have the darker undertones. You would just have more of like the fanaticism between the Templars and the mages, and it was very clear who was right and wrong here. As opposed to in Origins, it was always a shade of gray, where maybe you do side with the Dalish over the werewolves, and in their conflict, or maybe you side with the golems over the dwarves in their conflict. It wasn't always right or wrong, where the Templars or the Circle of Magi right. There were no right or wrong answers. It was just how you approached it. and you don't get any of that. It really, I feel like in Dragon Age 2. At least for me. For me, it is a clear. For me, the primary choice in Dragon Age 2 is clear and evident. Versus the Templars or the mages. To me, and I'm gonna let you guys play it so you can see what I mean. I'm playing through it again right now, and to me, the choice is obvious. Now, yes, both sides have their issues. Yes, both sides have upsides. But I think in Dragon Age 2 especially, the choice is obvious. And in Inquisition, there's a conflict. But it also doesn't feel like a very serious conflict. Like, I remember playing it on my last run, and I at some point kind of forgot I was just questing and just kind of exploring and enjoying the world. I didn't really care about the primary conflict. I didn't care about Corypheus. I just didn't care. Like, I just wanted to go out, and I was just happy to be in the world of Thetis again. Also, bring back blood magic. I think not having blood magic, they pulled it from Dragon Age Inquisition. They're not having it in Veilguard, and they're making like a total huge stance against blood magic, which of course and it's always been taboo in the series. But the fact that you were able to use it as a mage also gives you some gives you some choice in there too. Gives you some agency in there and lets you say, hey, well, I think this is still worth it. I think that you can be a good blood mage or a bad blood mage. Now, I wish they would have also incorporated more of the story in that. Like maybe maybe the Templars react differently to you or are more aggressive towards you or something if you activate blood magic. They didn't really do that. They didn't really hone in on that. But it would have been cool if they did in Origins or Dragon Age 2. And it looks like they're kind of... And then they took it out in Inquisition, and it looks like they're getting rid of that, which kind of gives it more of a bright tone. And then when you also see in the trailers... I remember I saw the first trailer, and I thought, is this like a kid's game? Because it looked like a Disney Pixar movie, and I didn't like that. I missed the dark tones and the dark themes of Dragon Age Origins, and I feel like every new entry, as I said before, is just pushing further and further and further away from what made Dragon Age Origins great, as opposed to, building on top of that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have any concerns about Dragon Age, the Veilguard at all? Are you still excited for it? I'm still excited for it, but I have reservations. Playing Baldur's Gate 3 made me really want to play Origins again, and it made me really want to go through this trilogy again. But seeing what they're offering, seeing the not very good combat reveal, seeing the art style and the tone, and just kind of the way that BioWare has approached it, has made me think that this game might not be as good as the original 3 games, and that concerns me because it's been 10 years and it's a series that I really, really like. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time, and thanks for watching.